What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about new drugstore makeup of 2019. It's just now 2019 and the drugstore's been kicking it out left and right. There's so much new stuff. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel because why the heck not? It's free, it's easy, it's right in front of your face, and it helps me out. So make sure you subscribe and also hit the notification bell to be notified of all my uploads. I don't have a very consistent uploading schedule right now, so you want to make sure you turn your notifications on because we don't ever know. So yeah, if you guys want to see some new drugstore makeup in action, then please keep watching. Okay, so I went ahead and did my makeup up to the point where we need to start talking about new stuff. So I do have my eyeshadows on and my eyebrows, and if you're wondering what I'm wearing on my eyes, yes, it's fiery and it's vivid and it's orange. I wanted to match an orange lipstick. I'm corny like that. So I use a mixture of these two palettes right here from Juno & Company. Juno & Company is a website where you can find those microfiber sponges that blew up, which I'm not a big fan of, but they're not technically new, but they are new to me. And today was actually the first day that I had time to sit down and just play with them. And let me tell you, I am thoroughly impressed. This is an absolutely amazing formula. These palettes are only $12, and wait till you see these shades. So the main one that's on my eyes today, all these flaming hot Cheeto orange colors, this is Supreme Seductress. So here's what it looks like on the inside. You have a little cool tone section over here, which kind of reminds me of that Huda palette, I believe. There's a Huda palette. This one right here, I think. Yeah, kind of reminds me of that. And then you have this section over here, which is more of like warm tones. Formula is absolutely amazing. They blend out so well. They're so soft and creamy and buttery and pigmented, but not too pigmented. They're amazing. And I didn't really expect much from them because I've never heard anyone talk about them, but absolutely stunning. And then this one I only pulled in like a couple shades. This is Supreme Femme, so this is the purple one, and this one is actually sold out on their website right now, and it's January 26th, but I'm sure it'll be up soon. But these shades, like, this is the perfect palette if you like a mixture of warm tones and pink tones. I think that this one is kind of trying to dupe the Huda palette. This one right here, we don't know. I don't know the names of them. I haven't tried them, but amazing color selection. So yeah, I am super pumped about these. Such an amazing formula, and I can't wait to play with them more. So if you guys want to see more looks with those, definitely let me know. But the first thing I have from the drugstore that's actually from the drugstore and is actually new is the Maybelline Lasting Drama Matte Eye Pencil in the shade Rusty Terracotta. So they do have 3 shades of these on the Ulta website, which is where I found it. These are $5.99. They have black. They have this one, which is just a really pretty, like, kind of deep cranberry red, and then they have an olive green called Jade Olive. But here's what it looks like. It's just a really pretty deep red. It is matte, and I haven't used this one a whole lot, and this probably really won't show up a whole lot on my eyes where I have all these red tones. Probably not a good idea, but like I said, I was just trying to match a like burnt orange lipstick later on, but whatever, we're just gonna do it. So it does seem very creamy from what little amount I have used it. I haven't used it on my lower lash line though, or like my waterline, so I think I'm gonna do that today. I will say this is such a pretty shade with like a neutral eye look, like a shimmer on the eyelid, just a little bit of like a tan shade or some kind of brown matte shade in the crease. So pretty. It just makes the red actually pop because you can't really see it right now. But this is okay. Like, the formula isn't bad. I definitely think it is better when you can actually see it. We're going to go ahead and put this on my waterline, which sometimes can mimic pink eye, so you got to be careful with that. But I just want to see how long it holds up while we are filming. So, yeah, not too bad so far. I will be giving you guys an update on this. But moving on to mascara. So L'Oreal did just come out with a brand new one, and this is called the Unlimited Length and Lift Mascara. This is $12.99 on the Ulta website and in stores. And this is a weird kind of concept. So first of all, the packaging is very different from what we're used to seeing. It's very fat, and it kind of looks like a genie in a bottle kind of thing. And this really reminds me of the Benefit Bad Gal Bang Mascara as far as the wand goes. Even the formula is very similar. I do want to do a dupe better with it, comparing it side by side. But here's what it looks like. It's just that, you know, kind of tapered, longer, more narrow little brush. But yeah, here's what it does. So it bends like that. And I don't really know the purpose of the bend because it's already a pretty short handle anyway. So I don't really know why that needs to bend. I would understand if it's like a full length, regular size mascara wand. So it says instant lash lift effect and intense lengthening mascara, inspired by the makeup artist hack of bending the mascara wand for added control and ease of application. Unlimited Mascara's unique 2-position wand can be used straight or bent to customize your lash look. Makes application precise and effortless, allowing access to harder to reach inner and outer corner lashes. The stretchable formula glides on lashes to build up any look with no clumps or flakes. So I don't really understand the whole bending thing, because they're saying that it's inspired by the makeup artist hack of bending the mascara wand. The wand itself, that would be like bending this part. That's the mascara hack that people do. They bend the wand itself so that it kind of curves to the lashes, but you can't bend the wand. It's just like any other mascara. So bending the handle doesn't really achieve that hack. Like, it doesn't really make any sense. So I feel like it's very gimmicky. I feel like they're trying to do something unique and original, but they just kind of didn't hit the mark on that. I'm going to go ahead and curl my lashes and do 2 coats on each side. Alright, so here's a mascara, and as you can see with one layer, it gives an incredible amount of length and volume, separation, fullness. Like, it's a very fast acting mascara, much like the Benefit Bad Gal Bang, just saying. But I actually like this mascara better with just using one layer instead of 2, which is what I usually do. Like, I just feel like with one layer, it makes my eyes look very open. It kind of gives them like an uplifted effect. But I will say the one issue that I have with this is that it does flake. All throughout the day, I'm constantly flicking it off my face. And it doesn't seem to matter how many layers I apply, whether it's 1 or 2, because sometimes if you apply too many layers, that can cause flaking, but it does it with just 1, 2, and I apply a very light amount when I apply 1 layer, so it's definitely the mascara and not me. And I even started applying my setting spray after mascara in hopes that that would fix it, because maybe setting spray makes it flake or whatever, but I still have the issue. So I love what it does. I love the effect of it. I think the packaging is very weird. Like, this makes no sense to me. And I also would prefer to be in a regular size wand. Like, I feel like this is just so small. And just let me show you what it does. Like, when you do this, because the wand itself is already so short, it's like, it's just too close to the applicator. Like, you have no room to go. Like, there's no room for your hands to go. So I did forget to talk about this eyeshadow primer from Makeup Revolution. This is the Prime and Lock Longwear eyeshadow primer. This is $9 at Ulta. But let's just talk about the packaging real quick, because this is the biggest eyeshadow primer I've ever seen. It looks a lot like Tarte Shape Tape or like Too Faced Born This Way concealer. It's pretty hefty, and the wand is just like those. It's just like the Tarte Shape Tape and Born This Way concealer, but this is a very weird formula. So this is a super liquidy, very wet consistency. It does not want to set. It just wants to keep smearing, and just, it's very patchy. It's just a very watery consistency. And you could probably see in the demo that this was taking me forever to actually blend out with my finger. Brush is basically the only way to actually make this set, because it's like it doesn't want to actually set down. It just wants to keep smearing and transferring and just keep going and going. So what I found with this is that literally just 1 dot is all you need. You don't need to do 2 or 3 dots on. That's just way too much. It literally just takes 1 single dot, as you'll see on my left side. So that's what I recommend. It's not bad. I don't really experience fading or creasing or anything a whole lot, but it's just a weird consistency. It's just very watery. But moving on to face primer. So this is the one that everyone's been talking about like crazy lately, and everyone's comparing it to the Tatcha, I don't know, the pore refining primer or whatever it's called, the big expensive one. But this is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is $8 at Ulta, and I'm not completely decided on it. Like, I'm not sold on it, and I'm not like completely tossing it to the side, but if the Tatcha one works like this, then it's definitely not worth it in my opinion. Now, everyone's saying that they're dupes. I may try it for myself and see, but here's what it looks like. And this just doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I mean, it does fill my pores maybe a little bit, but not a whole lot. Now, I will say it looks a lot more smoothing on the back of my hand, but when it comes to my face, I don't really feel like it does much. I also have another primer. This is a new one from Wet n Wild. This is the Photo Focus Rose 3-in-1 Primer Water. This is $4.99 on the Wet n Wild website, but I did find it at Ulta. Not really sure how much it was, but I'm sure it was around that mark as well. But whenever I see primer waters or like primer setting sprays in a way, like, I just can't help but think that it's just another product that they put out just to make us keep buying stuff and make us think that we need that in our collection, because I feel like primer waters or like primer sprays are pretty much the exact same thing as setting sprays. It does say ultralight primer water that hydrates, smooths, and brightens skin for a dewy, healthy look. It is an everyday essential. See, keywords, they're trying to get you. To create a smooth, flawless canvas for application, it allows foundation to glide on easily and stay looking fresh for hours. There's not even rose in this, is there? This is just like a rose-scented setting spray. I feel so duped. But we are going to use it today. We're going to go ahead and spray this bad boy on. Yeah, it smells like a very fake rose scent, but I've let the primer water set, and I don't really feel like it's done much. I mean, it looks more hydrated, I guess, but I don't know, I feel like I'm being robbed. I just realized that they might be trying to do the MAC Fix Plus setting sprays that are scented, because they have a rose, a coconut, and a lavender scented one, and there's literally no difference in those versus the original Fix Plus setting spray, except that they're scented. So maybe that's what they're trying to do. Not really sure, but I'm on to you, Wet n Wild. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the Poreless Putty Primer now. I'm gonna zoom you guys in though. I do have pretty large pores. You're not gonna be able to see them, but trust me, they're there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some on this side. And with these types of products, I just like to put it where I really need it. I don't like to put them all over. So I really just keep these focused in my T-zone and like my cheek area. So this does mattify a little bit, I will say that, but it's not a bad product. Like, I'm not completely discounting it or anything. I just don't think it's what it's cracked up to be. So next up is the brand spanking new L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. So this is $14.99 at Ulta. So they have 30 shades. I got the shade 420, and this is pretty much a perfect match for me. I didn't really see all the shades just because they didn't even put them out on display yet. I got this in the break room because I do work at Ulta, so I can see stuff before it even goes out. But it says, breakthrough long wear foundation with breathable skin technology. It provides medium to full buildable coverage that lasts all day and allows the skin to breathe. The formula's 3 oil absorbers resist sweat, water, and transfer. The ultra-thin liquid goes on smoothly to give a fresh, healthy-looking complexion that lasts. Color stays true and blends in evenly so your makeup looks fresh all day. It's non-comedogenic and formulated with SPF. It has SPF 25 in here, but do not rely on SPF in your foundation or your cosmetic products. It doesn't account. We don't apply enough for it to actually be that number. So just throwing that out there. But I have been testing this out for about a week and a half now. Not every single day consecutively, just because it's not my absolute favorite. It's not bad. I don't hate it. It's just not my cup of tea. And out of 500 reviews, it has 4.6 stars on Ulta. So people are liking this. Now, I do want to say I have oily combination skin. I don't typically get oily throughout the day, but I will say as far as the packaging goes, it does come in a pump, and the pump has this little indentation right here for your finger, and it's actually really easy to control. I feel like it's very luxurious. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a drugstore foundation. So, oh, let's go back to the eyeliner swatch on my hand. Let's just do a little smudgy smudge action. Okay, we're not smudging. I'm gonna rub a little harder here. So it's smearing a little bit, like literally just a little bit, but I mean, that's still a pretty full-on swatch. But let's just go ahead and pump this out. This is a pretty watery consistency, as you can see. It's pretty liquidy. It's pretty thin. So on this side, I'm gonna apply it with a Real Technique sponge. On the other side, I'm gonna use a AOA Studio F1 brush. So this is just like the Sigma brush. So yeah, it's like dripping down my hand right now. So I do typically look for full coverage, but I don't want it to be like heavy or thick looking. I would say this is just a pretty good medium coverage. I really can't get super full coverage out of it without, applying 6 layers, which I don't want to do. But if you apply a very small amount, like if I were to just go with this, it looks very natural and it looks very skin-like. But yeah, here's what it looks like with 1 layer. It does have a very strong perfumey smell, but not a good perfume, like a very soapy smell. I don't like it. It's very heavily fragranced, just saying. And this actually does set to be almost like a powder finish. The other day I didn't set it for probably at least an hour. It was a long time, and it actually didn't feel like it needed to be set. So if you have dry skin, I don't think you would even have to set this. If you have oily skin, you could probably just set the T-zone or wherever you get oily, but I would definitely be okay with just putting cheek products on top of this and going, especially since I'm more into that natural makeup kind of thing right now. But let's go in on the other side with a flat top kabuki brush. And I do like to spray my brush with a spray, so I'm going to use that Wet n Wild Rose Spray just because I feel like it helps it to not absorb so much of the luminosity, and also it doesn't make it as streaky. So, oh, so strong. Yeah, I don't like the smell of this. Like this Photo Focus Rose Primer Water or whatever, it smells so heavy, like such a strong rosy smell. It's almost kind of irritating to my sniffer. I mean, it does look pretty natural still. I just like how this side has more luminosity. But I am going to go in with one more pump and just kind of touch up this side with the sponge. So I probably used about 3 pumps at this point. But contrary to most people's review, I'm not the biggest fan of this. I don't hate it. I don't think it's bad. There are just small things that I don't like about it. Now I may learn to love it. This may be my new favorite foundation a month from now. But right now at this point, I'm just not super into it. But moving on to concealer. So I do have 2 new ones, and it seems like the drugstore is just really kicking them out lately. So I have the new L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer, and then I have the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer. So these are both pretty much the same kind of shade. The e.l.f. one's in the shade Fair Warm, and then I have 325 Eggshell and L'Oreal. So let's talk about the L'Oreal one first. So I will be applying this one on this side and the e.l.f. one on this side. So the L'Oreal one is $12.99. They have 25 shades, very light and very dark. So good job, L'Oreal. But it says 24-hour wear, full coverage, matte finish, waterproof, transfer resistant, fade resistant, and that's pretty much it. So here's what it looks like. Very nice packaging. Once again, it's kind of like that Tarte Shape Tape kind of packaging with the really big size wand, which I'm all about. And then let's just go ahead and talk about the e.l.f. one real quick, just so we can apply them both at the same time. So again, this is the 16-hour Camo Concealer. This is $5 at Ulta, so a lot cheaper, but they don't have as many shades. Let's see, they have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. They have 18 shades. They don't go as dark. Definitely not as good of a shade selection, but they do go very light. And again, this is Fair Warm, which is a lot lighter than what I'm used to. Both of these shades are lighter than what I'm used to, but when I wore it the other day, like I wore them both side by side, I got so many compliments about my makeup, and like my friend was like, your face looks different, like you look more awake and like brighter today. I was like, okay. But this just says full coverage and long wear formula, camouflage those pesky spots and under eye circles with this high coverage, crease resistant 16-hour wear camo concealer. Let's just go ahead and apply the L'Oreal concealer on this side. I'm going to do one at a time. So I'm just going to do this little motion right here. I would say this is very comparable to Tarte Shape Tape, but this is definitely full coverage. And as you can see, this shade on me is very bright, but with a full face of makeup, it actually looks pretty dang good. I will say this is a very matte formula, so it does tend to be more drying. So if you have a very dry under eye area, probably want to stay away from this one. It's not going to be hydrating whatsoever. But yeah, there's one layer, full coverage right off the bat, guaranteed. So I do want to do just a little bit more to show you how it layers. Now I will say on me, this does look pretty dry. I don't have a super dry under eye area, but it tends to find the dryness in the dry spots. It does crease just a little bit, very minimal though, but you can definitely build it up and get like extreme coverage. Now I will say where it does dry so fast, I definitely recommend working one section at a time. The other day I drew it on both sides and I just kind of started blending one side out, and when I got to the other side, it was pretty dry and I had to I had to take it off and start all over again. So yeah, just heads up on that, but blends out really well. Really fast, it's creamy. So there's the L'Oreal side, very full coverage, blends out really nicely. I have no issues with that as long as I work kind of fast and kind of go one section at a time. Looks really smooth, very flawless on the skin at first, but you definitely have to set it. If you don't set it, it creases like crazy, which is weird because it's matte. So moving on to the e.l.f. concealer on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing. Again, I don't know what I was thinking with the color, but we're here and we're making it work. And I do feel like it's fuller coverage right off the bat. As you can see, this is 2 layers and this is 1, and it's covered up a little bit more, but it's creamier and it blends out better in my opinion. And I feel like a little bit does go a long way with both of these, especially the e.l.f. one. But if we're battling these out and doing a little comparison, I do like the e.l.f. one better. I just feel like it sits better under the eyes. It's not as drying, it's not as matte. So yeah, both good concealers. I like the e.l.f. one better, but the L'Oreal one does have better shades. So if you can't find your shade in the e.l.f. one, try the L'Oreal one. I'm sure you'll be able to find your shade in that. But back to the foundation just real quick, and then we're pretty much done. I feel like even though it's a natural foundation, like it's a very natural finish, it's lighter coverage and stuff, it actually looks more of a matte finish like once it sets. Also will say it does emphasize some lines on my face. Kind of emphasizes acne just a little bit because it's a matte finish, but it's just not my favorite still. So I just wanted to point that out as well. But I'm pretty sure that's it for the new drugstore products. So I think I'm gonna go off camera and finish up the rest of my face so you can see how everything looks together, and I'll be right back. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in my next one. Mwah.